Yeah, see, mine lags. But anyways, well, hello, hello. We welcome to Looking Through the Glass. I am Giselle, and then we have Sela, and today we have Cheryl, and of course I have to cough. And lovely Cheryl is a spiritual coach and healer, and we started talking and had some of the most amazing conversations. And Cheryl, would you like to share a little bit more about yourself?
Yes, thank you. First off, love what you guys are doing, and I just feel so grateful to be a part of your mission. And and a little bit about myself. I started on this journey over 32 years ago, and it really has been quite something. And uh, and it's the phases that one goes through are just incredible. And I just have to say, for all that I've done, all the work I've done, and my own evolution and helping others, I'm just so grateful to be alive right now. It is a fascinating and incredible time that humanity is evolving the way it is. And so I believe all our souls chose this journey now. Here we are, 2026, and it's happening.
Yeah,
It
it is.
is.
It really is.
I'm. Go ahead, Giselle.
I don't remember what I was going to say. Go for it.
I was gonna say I completely agree with you on the. I believe that our souls, the souls that are here right now, absolutely chose this path to be here right now for a specific reason. I always say that we're here purposefully, with purpose and on purpose.
Yes, and it really is a time of waking up. So I look at what I've done, and I don't so much identify with the work that I do as a soul, as a human. You could, some people have said to me, well, what are you going to do when you're retiring? You've got to continue your work. And I think, well, who knows? I don't know what my soul's journey is. I'm not attached to that. I don't identify with, sure, I've given myself these titles: spiritual coach, master healer, all that I do. And I'm psychic. I never put that out there, mediumship, but I'm being led, and it's so exciting for me to be here with you two, because you guys get it, and I can talk
Yes.
about where I'm at. And we are all being woken up. And I just read something yesterday. It's like it's like the divine is waking us all up from this slumber, and we can either wake up gracefully and say, oh, yes, it's a new day, or we can try and roll over and stay under the covers, and we're going to end up having to wake up. It's going to be rough. We could be knocked out of bed. So,
Hmm.
what do you choose? And so I have to look at myself. What am I choosing? And we can't know all the answers. We can't, it's a different way of being today.
It really is. And the whole the getting up out of bed and deciding how you're going to start your day. I feel that that is a very big thing for us if we're not starting the day off right. And I think us getting up and going, I'm going to have a great day, and that gives us the good start of our day. It's going to make the day better. That's us putting positivity into our day instead of laying in bed and then go and trying to hide under the covers. You're it feels like you're just trying to draw it out. From experience, at least in my experience, it's been like that.
Yeah, and it's the metaphor for our lives today. So I love that you say we can look at it every day, and yet it's waking up with wonder and curiosity too. What is the day going to be like? And not being attached to knowing. And we've all been conditioned, so deeply conditioned, that we have to know. We have to
Control.
know. We have to have the plan. Yeah, the control.
Hmm.
That's all based on fear. All
Yes.
of our conditioning that is no longer serving us is based in fear. So, how do we
Yes.
enter the day? How do we continue in our lives in the moment without fear, and living from that place of our deepest level of inner knowing, which does not come from the left brain? It's not, it's not in our mind. So, even though or in spite of, or in addition to doing all this spiritual work, studying multiple modalities, so many retreats I've been on, I've led so many retreats that it really comes back to we can't know how this is going to look because we're imagining it from our conditioning. We're imagining it from the place of our history, from who we've been, what we've done, and it's it's the unknown, and so the unknown is coming upon us whether we like it or not,
Yep.
and being as receptive as possible. It's the receptivity that's the key, that we're receptive to everything as it is, and in order to do that we must be in the moment. And that's a whole topic in itself, is being present in the moment. But I think it's also so much our own inner knowing in the body, not the left brain, because that's where all the conditioning is. Our
Hmm.
body.
Hmm. Yeah,
Well,
there's a reactions that are happening in our bodies whenever, like, so as somebody that is I'm in the actually in therapy for behavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, and learning. I've had to learn that, because I've numbed myself for so many years, that coming out of this numbing and stepping into this surrendering, that's what I did. I said, surrender, here, this is yours. I'm no longer taking this. Uh-oh, Giselle, stop recording. It showed you stopped recording, Giselle. Uh-oh. You know, always happens when we're having great conversations to get knowledge out there, right? She'll be back in, you guys. She'll be back in. Uh, but anyhow, stepping into the unknowing, and like when at the beginning of my journey, that's what I was faced with, was this unknowing, and especially when in recovery, and I had to do this radical acceptance before I can accept the unknown, before I can be okay with letting go of that control.
right.
Hi, Giselle. Before I was, able to let go of that control and just go, okay, I surrender to you, universe, and I understand that I have a divine path that I need to take, and I'm going to be led to that. And I had to do this radical acceptance of this overhaul of everything. I had to take inventory of me and everything that I was and everything that I had been and everything I've been through and all of that. And I can't even begin to explain the amount of help that I got through spirit, um, and my faith and everything. Like, it really pulled me through all of those dark nights of the souls. It really pulled me through. I was guided in so many ways. When you say guided, I mean like guided. I have no understanding of how or what, or you know what I mean? I mean, I know what, but like I had no understanding of how or why. And then I'm here today. Like, I wake up every day going, you know what? I'm excited for my life today. I'm no longer afraid of what my life is going to bring tomorrow. I'm no longer afraid of what I faced yesterday. I am going to wake up and I'm going to have a beautiful day. No matter what, it's going to be a beautiful day because it's happening for me, not to me.
And I think that's really key. And life is happening for all of us. It's not happening to us. It may feel like that, but that comes from the conditioning. If we can
Mm-hmm.
surrender and allow that life is happening for us, and we're here to learn, our souls have signed up for all of it. And I think that's where, when I do readings for people, then I can help them identify. I can see, number one, where their light is flowing well. We are all made of light. We are all
Mm-hmm.
of love. We are all divine beings. We are all united. We're like one big soul, and various aspects of the divine. But I can see where your light is shining so brightly, and then where the blocks are and what you can do about it. And so it's it has been what I've thought of sort of as a small part of my work, because I really discount my readings. I really discount them. It's been the individual energy healing that I do that is sort of my bread and butter. But to be of service, I think that is what's needed so much in humanity right now. And I love doing those readings so that it makes it helps the left brain understand, oh, okay, so this is part of my journey, and these are my challenges that are serving me. And then it's releasing those blocks so that one can move forward. And like you said, you have to identify all of it. You have to recognize it in order to release it. And in the work I've done for years now, the healing has been around what the subconscious blocks are, what we're not aware of. And so people go back into pre-memory. That's where all our stuff was first formed. Usually, in my experience, under the age of 3, often age 2, age 1, even in the womb. And it's a matter of not just identifying, but feeling those emotions we couldn't feel. So I was numb before as well. I really get you. I really get you, Sela. And because it became unsafe to feel everything, it
Yes.
made things worse. So you better hold it in. And we've
Yes.
been
And
conditioned
how
as,
dare I talk about it and let it out, because that was just a big no-no.
yeah, not
That
okay.
was that was I was so ashamed of what I was allowing in my life, not just with the addiction, but with the abuse that I was living under and stuff like that. I was so ashamed of what I was allowing, because I've been conditioned, well, you allow it. Well, you allowed it. You allowed it. And that's not the situation when people are dealing with those kind of relationships. But I let everybody imprint that on me. And it was, I mean, and I'm talking very recent, where I'm like, I'm in this era right now where I'm like, you know what, your imprints are no more for me. They no longer shape me. They no longer do any of that. I shape me, God shapes me, and I'm here to do something special, and I know that I'm here to do something special, and I'm going to run with that, because that's what gives me the healing power that I need. Like
Right.
that right there alone, just in no matter what I'm facing, because I'm facing a lot of crap today, you know, and and a lot of old triggers, really, really old triggers just being forced in my face recently. And I just keep holding on to I know that God will get me through this. I know that I have the strength. I know that I have the tools. I know that I have a community. And I know I have all of these things that I never had before. I've built and worked and did these things. So I'm going to fall on those, and I'm going to use those. And I'm going to use them to my absolute utmost abilities. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, and it's so helpful because now you're able to feel your emotions. So we can go from this phase of we don't even realize when we're numb. We
Mhm.
don't know we're numb
No,
because we just
no.
are.
And we
It's
have no idea how numb.
it's a coping mechanism, and so we often develop addictions because we're reaching to feel better because the pain is unbearable. That's why addictions are developed. Often
Yes.
sensitive people to begin with who feel emotions very deeply and aren't allowed, and so that creates the addictions. And so what I'd like to talk about, if it's okay, is how to feel those emotions and let them move through you so they never come back. And that's using the full breath. And I'd like to include a link in the show notes for some free meditation so you can all do this at home. And it really is when we change the brain function in the lower abdomen when we use a long full breath, not in the chest, because when
Mhm.
we learn to stuff the emotions, we hold our breath and we hold our breath in the chest, not healthy, not good. So it's breathing in the lower abdomen below the navel, and it actually scientifically changes the brain function so that when we're breathing right now, talking, we're using the brain stem, the medulla oblongata more specifically. And as soon as you engage your abdominal muscles, it changes that brain function to the frontal lobal brain and frees up the back of the brain, which then gives us access to our subconscious. So there's one thing to feel emotions that we feel consciously, and it's a whole other thing to breathe through emotions that are still trapped in the subconscious. And that's what the
Mhm.
subconscious blocks are. So I invite you right now to just put your hand
Yeah.
in your lower abdomen and put your thumb at the level of your navel, and you can close your eyes and just breathe and think of anything that's upset you, anything that's triggered you recently, and you notice the emotions and just breathe into them. Let your shoulders relax, not chest breathing, lower belly, and squeeze the belly at the end of the breath to expel all the air. And you can drop down into the deeper emotions. So, especially if you feel anger, you drop down, and there's always another emotion underneath. It might be sadness, and underneath that might be fear. And I'm going very fast. This isn't how you really do it, but it's to let the body feel safe in feeling those emotions. And you can always go back to, when did I first feel this emotion? And often what happens in early childhood, especially around the age of 2, when the people around us are wounded, is we feel confused because we don't understand. We're still in touch with our true selves, our divine selves, but the people around us are denying who we truly are, denying our divinity, and we get this feeling. So you both felt some serious emotions here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so you get it, and we can, when you feel your emotions and the body is tense, you're recreating. It's almost like re-traumatizing yourself, but not like,
Yes.
it's not. So it's breathing through it, it releases it, and you open up, it clears those blocks, it clears that energy that's not flowing, and helps you access who you truly are. And it's in that state with the full breath that you can reparent yourself. It's about doing the inner child work, becoming that parent that you never had. I mean, we
Hmm.
all signed up for the parents we got. They were all part of our reason to be here. And there comes a time where we can let this go and allow. And I have to say, after years of doing this, it's not so much. I thought you're never done healing, but I'm changing my tune on that, because it's more now. Yes, it's doing that, which helps us move into the allowance. But I work with mature women who've done a ton of personal work, and it's helping them really reach enlightenment, which is,
Hmm.
it's that ongoing allowing of every moment and finding freedom from within. Freedom is not outside of us, people. You're not going to
Right.
organize your life to
Yeah.
feel free. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. The freedom through doing this work comes
Yes.
from within. And that peace.
Um,
That is, yeah, that is an absolute truth there, is that the freedom is within. It is not on the outside, it is completely on the inside, because I was trapped by my traumas. I was trapped by my addiction. I was trapped, and that's all within. That's all inside of, that was all inside of me that I was using to survive. I was using those things to survive, but until I was able to just go, okay, and it's not easy. And I'm like I said in the middle of the exercise, you were able to really tap in. I'm still working through these things. I'm still working through a lot of these things because there's been so many layers, and come to find out, some of those layers are very much so before memory. You know, and sorry, my brain just completely lost where I was going with that. It just flew the coop.
Well, you finished off with some of it is, it's pre-memory, and I'm blessed to have a granddaughter, and she's 4, and it really is at age 4 that their memory really kicks in and starts working for them. But age 2, children do not remember, but the body remembers. They store
Yeah.
all the traumas. It's all in there. And we used to think, oh, they're never going to remember this. Well, they might not remember it with the left brain, but their right brain remembers and carries that through for the rest of their lives, whatever it is. And it takes great skill to undo that at an early age, and we're often facing it and dealing with it, you know, like you are now, and so
Yeah.
many of us now, and it really is. That's what changes the generations. It's I don't do generational healing because it's about us. I believe the soul is in human form now, and we are here in this lifetime. We've lived all those other lifetimes, we all have, and it's healing everything now, and that affects generations behind us, and it'll affect the generations going forward. And it also helps the collective. It helps heal. When we heal ourselves, others are healing around us. So it's just
Yes.
worth it to do the work in this lifetime now, and set yourself free, and just keep saying yes, 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 yes to your life exactly as it is. And it's not so much what happens, it's how we process it, how we deal with
I
it.
think it's very beautiful, and I'm sorry I keep
Wow.
cutting in and out. I don't know what's going on, but I think it's really beautiful the way you put it, and just that little segment that we had, just the breathing segment, it brought up an emotion I didn't realize I was having subconsciously. I and me, I'm battling postpartum right now, so it's really, and postpartum has been very rough for me right now. Um, because I'm doing all this trauma healing, and then on top of it, I have all the emotions and the hormones and everything everywhere. And so I just wanted to sit there and cry. I'm like sitting there, and I'm getting ready to cry because of it. But it was allowing me to heal through it too. It was like a release. The best way I could explain it was like, it was just a release of it. And I have been learning over time is because I'm a person who just takes the emotion and shove it to the side. You're not going to feel it. And that's what I've always done throughout my entire life is I see the emotion, I shove it to the side. I'm not going to feel it. And my addiction became a non-substance addiction. It became the phone, the technology. And but it wasn't I wanted to feel a specific thing. That was mine. Is I wanted to feel a specific thing, and that was love. I wanted to feel loved. That was the only emotion I ever wanted to feel because I didn't feel it. And so I definitely think that being able to work through emotions and allowing us to feel the emotions, like you said, it gets us to where we need to be as a soul.
Exactly. And when you speak about love, you want to feel love. There's so much out there. Oh, just love yourself. Oh, you need to practice self-love. When you're forcing it, it doesn't work. Sure, it can help the left brain a little bit, but you need to create the inner space to receive love. You need to create the space where love is not so much what happens or with another person, it's a vibration. We vibrate. We
Yes.
are all designed to vibrate as love. That's our natural state. And so we need to create the inner space for that to happen. And so so I love it that you said, oh, you could have just cried and you could have stayed with it. If Don't cry and not breathe fully. It's important to keep breathing fully because it allows that energy to flow, and you will naturally reach that state of love that's deep inside you, waiting to come out. It's in there. We cannot be without love. It's just that we're not in tune with it. It's hidden. It's covered. It's covered up. And so, yeah, and so you can do that and just keep breathing through
Oh
those
yes.
difficult emotions, and you will
I
find love
definitely believe that
with it.
because and learning to release the emotions is, I think, is something that we as humans have a difficult time dealing with and working through is because we feel them, but we don't allow ourselves to feel them fully. So
Exactly, exactly. And it's about
yes.
doing it in a safe and appropriate way. Um, and creating the time and space, saying, okay, well, this isn't it's not appropriate for me to deal with this in the grocery store right now in front of everybody, but I'm going to make a note as soon as I get home. I am going to process this, and taking care of the self and making yourself a priority so that uh, you can trust
Oh
yourself.
yeah.
It's developing your
My
own inner
goodness.
trust.
That's
Mm,
like
yes.
that is so
Oh my
true.
gosh. Yes. Yes. That subject right there alone, developing your own inner trust, because of the things that I went through and experienced, I stopped trusting myself completely. Completely, totally, no, I trusted nothing of myself. I always had to seek validation, always had to seek other opinions on stuff like that. Whereas through this healing, like I feel something, like my little spidey senses start tingling, and I'm like, nope, I know it's right. Like I know what I'm feeling. I know what I'm going through. And and I have to say that the universe has been on my side of showing me that I was right, because in every turn where I'm like, something doesn't feel right, something's feeling off, and I start like deeper investigating, boom, okay, here we go. And I'm like, yep, boy, was I nail on the head. And then another situation, I'm like, something just doesn't feel right. I just feel it. I don't know, it just, I'm trying to put these pieces together. And then boom, oh, yep, you're right about that one too. So like the trusting your own instinct and believing your own gut is absolutely one of the biggest topics that I have it's like one of the big guns for me, because it was so hard. It was really difficult for me to trust myself again, especially when I sat down and I looked at all the things that I allowed in my life, not understanding that I was allowing it, you know? So trusting myself was something I completely lost my own trust.
And if I can, your story is classic. So I said I do reading, so I can see the chakras. And we think that our intuition is all third eye. It's
Hmm.
not. What did you say? You said, trust my gut. And that is
Hmm.
the solar plexus. So what
Hmm.
happens when I see people's third eyes, I'll always see light in the
Hmm.
front, because we all have intuition. It's part of our makeup. When somebody, but most of us don't trust our intuition. So the back half of the chakra is dark. And some people who are learning to trust, there starts to be more light at the back of the chakra. But the thing is, all that energy comes from the solar plexus. Chakras are paired. So, two, the sacral chakra and the fifth chakra, the throat chakra, are paired. And then the solar plexus is all about truth and power. And truth is power. And it's about divine truth flowing through you. So, when you're conditioned, when somebody is telling you, from early on, no, you're wrong, no, you have to do it this way, no, 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 and you're conditioned to not trust your intuition, you become in alignment with a lot of false truths, with untruths, and that always shows in the solar plexus. So then that is mimicked in the third eye,
The
and I see that all the time. And so I can see sometimes some people have really bright third eyes in the front. There's just a lot of light, and I say, wow, you really, and I can tell you whether you're clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, whatever, or all of them. I just did a reading on someone the other day who, she said, I've been told I'm clairaudient, and when I tuned into her, I said, you have all the clairs there, and I think we all do to a certain extent, but
I
she's
think so too.
meant to develop them. But the problems start in the solar plexus. So I also see people who want to learn to be psychic so that they're, really develop the intuition, so they're psychic. And some people are taught to do really weird things with the third eye. And I see these weird things done, and I look at like, oh, there's a blue eye sort of imprinted on the front of your third eye. It's like, stop that. Stop that. Don't it's pretend. It's kind of almost fake, illusory. Whereas if you get in touch with your truth, that's a place to focus. Always root chakra first. We need to develop safety and stability, which then moves into trust and faith. And that energy rides up the spine. And when we learn to
And you
trust
could
it,
feel it when it does.
that's right. That's right.
You
You
could
can
feel,
feel
you absolutely can feel it when it's happening. You absolutely feel your own energy flow through your spine and rise up, and you feel the tingles and everything. Like, I understand exactly what you're saying. Cause like, even as you're just talking about it, I'm like going into it and I'm feeling it like rising up, you know?
and that's the trust and faith rises up so you can be more in touch with your inner truth, what's
Hmm.
and really what's true for all of humanity, and what's and we can start to look at everything in life and choose to see the truth in things, that it can override our previous conditioning. So even when we're
Absolutely.
triggered, we can open up, we can put our hand on the solar plexus and look and see the truth. Oh, this is for all our learning.
It's so
Okay,
amazing. I love
Hmm.
it. I love
trust
when
you.
when people such as yourself can talk about the energy and the ability of psychic powers. And I'll because there's more and more people opening up to it and realizing that are able to have that. We are capable of doing it. And because my growing up, I've had a lot of people go, "You're crazy. You no." And it's like how it's just because they're not in tune with it, they're not in touch with it, they haven't experienced it themselves. Getting that experience, it is a whole new world. And yes, and I
For
do.
sure.
I
And we all
surely there
we all
because we
have
all
it.
feel energies. We can feel an energy off of each other and go, okay, I like this person. I like the way they feel around me. We connect on a right level. You were on the same vibration level, and that's where. And then you have some people who aren't connected, and you're like, I'm not sure about this person. I like them as a person, but that vibration level, you keep them at a certain level where you're not too close, and you don't want because you don't want it to affect you.
That's right. And we're all one anyway. So to try it's we continuously want to create separation. Whereas so I teach all my clients really learn how to become their own energy workers. And it's a very natural thing to do. And you don't know until you don't know how well you can work with energy until you actually do it. Um, and
But we
so
all can do it. We all have the ability. Every single one of us. There's not a single human being out there that is a human being that does not have the ability to learn how to do energy clearing, energy healing, and energy work. You like it is the most realist thing. It is the very making of our beings on the inside of us, and we have been taught to deny it so hardcore. It is unreal. And then like you were saying, they're putting up like, oh, the blue, like these third eyes and this that, and you're like, no, that's not true. They're putting up falsehoods out there. And to me, I'm like, some certain, because of just the way I think, I'm like, certain powers to be don't want us to learn these things, because it keeps us from raising our vibrations, it keeps us from raising our frequencies, and it keeps us from changing our realities.
yeah,
Ouch.
for sure. And I think there's some misconceptions around what spirituality really is anyway. What is spirit? Um,
Yes.
and what is that all about? I think there's some misconceptions.
Which we could do a whole nother episode on. Oh, I don't know what's up with her computer. Well, you guys, this is another proof of we
No,
do
we
not
don't,
edit.
and I don't know what's going on. It's acting weird. I've never done this. so many times. It just, something doesn't want me to hear the truth. That's what I'm gonna go with. Something doesn't want me to hear the truth.
Yeah, I think it's often it can just be it's just the energy, right? It's just there's maybe the three of us together,
I
there's
like how
just
you
some
put that.
shifting happening and we can trust it.
I love how
It's
you continue to put the positive spin on it, because a lot of people do like to go, well, there's something negative trying to keep me from doing this. And you're like, no, no, it's just this is just the way things are. And we just need to trust it and accept it and just put a power through with our good energy, you know?
Yeah, well, I look at it like this is really a time of dismantling, of releasing the old, of taking apart. And so it's not always pretty, but it's a good thing. It's very positive. And so when you have people that are doing the work, you can come together and energy shifts. You know, a lamp lights can start to flicker. All that
Hmm.
is really good, but it may not be comfortable. Whatever is happening, this shift we're going through as the
mm-mm.
human species is not comfortable. Everything that's happening in our world right now is serving us. So I think it's fabulous
It's what it
that the
is.
energy here, I'm sorry you keep getting cut out. You're
Sure.
still here, you're able to get back in every time. And so we can just trust that, oh, it's just energy. And there has to be through the dismantling, there's always going to be some chaos. That's natural. We feel the effects of the shift. And so it's just saying yes to it. And that's what you are doing. You're saying yes. We don't know what it's about, but it's just energy. And that we're going to ride these
Yep.
waves. We're going to keep going and we're going to ride these waves to our new society, the new cultures that are being developed, and
100%.
replacing the
I'm
old.
not going to look at it in a bad way because
Yes.
honestly, I have another way of getting in there. If my computer don't want to work, I'll just call her and you'll just talk to me through a phone. Well, we have ways to get around that.
Exactly. We'll
Because
figure it out.
I'm not, I can't let that affect me. I can't let the negativity affect me and my higher power, the way I'm feeling, the way my positivity, because I don't want that. I don't need that. My house doesn't need that. That's how I was saying. My house, I'm very big on keeping my house a very positive energy. Like I like my house welcoming to those who a safe space for not just me, but for anybody. Because and then we started a whole platform for it. But we all need that feeling, and sometimes we need somebody else's safe space just to help us feel and start our own safe space. And she started that. That was her. She started the
Absolutely.
whole safe space. And then I was like, I need my safe space.
You know, in all honesty, I'm going to be completely honest here. I was led. Looking through the glass was something that I was led to do. It was I say God and jelly roll because I was in a very and I like now looking back at it, I can see where God was doing it for me, not to me. And this is one of those instances where I'm able to look back, where it was like I was facing something that was absolutely life changing and life challenging, and I just stayed in prayer for like 2 weeks. I was in active use at this time, so I was numbing, but every time I used, I would pray, God, please help me get off of this. Help me. I will meet you. Just give me a little bit more help. And it was it was my marriage that was really at stakes at the time. There was a really bad fight and some bad things happened, and um I just was like, this is my whole world, you know. And I was driving home. I took a couple extra days because I went out to my cousin's to help her with her dad and her daughter. And I was driving home and I'm just praying and praying and praying. And I'm just like, God, please just give me some guidance on what to do. And I was told, you're going to come out and you're going to tell everybody about your drug addiction. And I went, I'm going to tell you straight up, I went, F you. No, I didn't hide it all these years for me to just tell everybody. Like, I didn't trust that. Not one bit. I Every time in my life people have used everything against me, everything that I've ever done, whether it was good or bad, it's been used to turn against me. I'm not coming out about anything. And I just stayed in prayer and stayed in prayer, and then I made it home and I sat on it for a few days, and I just kept being told, no, you need to let all of your skeletons out of your closet, and you have people waiting for you. They're waiting for you. And I was just like, nope, nope. And then finally, I surrendered to it. I said, okay, God, okay. And then, like when we were waiting, I was trying to figure out the name of what we were going to name the Looking Through the Glass, and the song kept coming. The song kept coming. The song kept coming, and I just kept pushing it off, not noticing it. And then finally, I was like, you know what? No, that's the name of it. Looking Through the Glass. That's the name of it. But that's literally how Looking Through the Glass got started. And it was, okay, I'm going to show people from me. We started Looking Through the Glass when I was in active addiction, and we recorded the me going through different steps and going through different processes, and her and I healing, and also in me healing me too, just showing the world.
And I hear you, and thank you for sharing again and looking in through the glass. It's like whether we have substance addiction, phone addiction, whatever it is, the avoidance, whatever our challenges are, it's like we're looking through dirty glass. We can't see the truth. It's all that conditioning. It's like years old, decades old of dirty window, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And doing the work, we start to polish it, we start to wash it, we start to wash it so that we can keep looking in, and then we can see what's always been there, all the love and all the light
Mhm.
that we can't see when it's dirty. It's blocked
Mm-hmm.
from us. So it's just such a great metaphor, looking in through the glass.
Oh,
And
it's one
thank
of
you for
those things
sharing that
because,
with the
and the
world.
way we put it is because we have, there's YouTube and everything. Every time somebody is looking through the technology, they're technically looking through the glass. So every time they're watching or they're watching something like we post on other platforms, and we're like you are technically looking through the glass. So you're we just like we make a joke out of it every single time because it's a different world.
Yeah, it is a different world to be living from that place and continuing to wash the glass so we can look
Yes.
through and see the truth, continuing.
Get rid of all that dingy energy.
I do have one question for you,
Scrub a dub
Cheryl.
dub.
What if I can figure out how to put the words together, what made you realize that you were a spiritual coach or a healer or like what opened you up to that?
It's such a loaded question. You have no idea. So first of all, years I had people telling me I had spiritual teacher, psychic saying you're a spiritual teacher, and I would just slough it off. No, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. No, no, no. And yet, here I was. My spiritual work that I did for others was always a side gig. So, and I would also do my work under a different sort of shingle, a different guise. So I had a spiritual interior design business, and I would do my spiritual work through that. So I've been helping people for 32 years, ever since I got on this path. And in different modalities and in different ways. And then came the time where I, the divine wanted me to do it full time. And I resisted. And I was like, oh, and I helped so many people in resistance. And I think I was the queen of resistance. And I resisted it to the point of I ended up sick, and I became chronically ill. And I had to finally surrender to it and say, okay, all right, yes, I'll do this full time. And instead of, for decades, it just always was part time, but it started to consume more and more of my time. The healings, the retreats,
Mm.
I led meditations, multiple classes in my home and outside of my home. I rented spaces and did all this work. And then it was, I never realized it. I just couldn't own it. I thought, when I was younger, when I was still in my 30s, I thought, oh, it's enough for me to work with myself. I couldn't imagine helping others. I thought I have enough problem with myself. I never realized how truly fulfilling it could be to do it full time, really own it, and wear the title. And it's just a title or titles. And I call myself a master healer only because I've been doing it for over 30 years, and I help healers heal. I get a lot of healers for clients who are allow themselves to be vulnerable and say, I'm not quite there and I could use some help. And so it's really nice for them to learn my methods, and then they can help their own clients, which always happens. They always tell me afterwards, wow, I never used to go as far back as in the womb with my clients. And now that I've done it for you've helped me do that, I do it for my clients and all that. So it has been a rocky road in answer to your question. And now I'm in the place of saying yes to something new. There's something else that wants to come through me. And I'm really seeing that. I think it's the readings that are moving to a higher level and being of service in that way. And I have to say, being of service is not a job. It's not the title. It's who we are in the world. So I am of service as a grandmother. I am of service buying groceries in the grocery store. It's how we live. It's who we are. It's how we're vibrating. And we don't ever know what kind of influence we're having on another. So I'm not attached to the titles. I'm not attached to the roles that I play. What I am attached to is my own evolution. And no matter what we do, so it's through these titles, through being a spiritual coach and master healer, that I've grown myself. And we're always challenged to go to this next level. And so I'm in another phase of a deep sort of dismantling, and there's new coming in, and it's exciting, and we can't push it because we don't know what the divine has in store for us. So it's a deep allowing as well. And I've moved into, doing business chakra readings, which are so cool. So I get people in business and let them know, what's really going on energetically when they think it's them or they think it's something else or the marketing. And it's always the energy and something else that's wanting to come through, sort of an up leveling, so to speak, which always requires the release of the older, of something else. So we're always in transition. I don't know when I
Yes.
haven't been in transition.
Yeah, I completely agree with that one. It's always
I think a lot
always
of
in
people
transition.
go ahead.
And I think that's the one
I
thing.
was just gonna say
Go ahead.
it very much it kind of like everybody calls it the butterfly. You're transitioning to a butterfly. You're transitioning to something more beautiful.
Yes.
Yes,
And that's a
morphing.
beautiful way to
Yeah,
put it. We're
it's just
always
something that
morphing.
I've always seen it that way.
Yeah.
Hmm. I've always seen it as everything is a learning. It's a lesson. We need to learn from it. What do I need to take from it? Like, okay, there's this situation. Yeah, it sucks, but what is it from this situation that I need to extract to make me grow? What am I supposed to be getting from this? What is divine telling me? That's the way I've always, from a very young age, I've always looked at everything. Was like, no, I'm here to learn. So how do I do this? Well, okay, here's this subject. What do I need to pull out of it? Not understanding that sometimes I couldn't do it in the time. Hindsight's 2020 a lot sometimes. But I understand the dismantling era. Like I think you go through multiple of those. It's not just one. When you're going through the healing and stuff, you go through. There's the levels of the dismantling that you've got to go through. And I'm saying with my own experience, that's what I'm dealing with. And I'm like on one of my dismantling moments or times right now, and I'm doing my best to just kind of stay in a higher vibration and go, okay, let breathe through it. And I'm going to use your exercise quite a bit on through all of this that I'm going through right now, because there's a lot of emotions behind them that I need to just sort through. And I thank you for showing us that.
Oh, wonderful. And so in the link there's 3 meditations. So it shows you how to do the full breath and then the full rhythmic breath where you can get in alignment with your heartbeat and you can count seconds. But the third meditation, which is my most listened to meditation, and it's so many of my clients, they'll go back to it, creating safety and stability in the root chakra, because we didn't have that, and that's what creates lasting change. So that's a fabulous meditation. So it's not just breathing, with the full breath, but taking those emotions, and it's very transformative. And of course I have hundreds of meditations, but that's what you get, are those 3 powerful meditations to help you through. So we'll have the link, and it can really fling open the doors to a new level of healing and empowerment. And really we are all so powerful beyond what we can imagine, right? Beyond what we can possibly imagine.
There goes another one of the energetic flirs. But you are right. We have abilities and we're capable of doing things that we've been told that are not real. Like we have been told and numerous times that this isn't real, this isn't real, this isn't real, when it absolutely is. You know, it's proven that you can't kill energy, and that's what we are, is energy. To me, I'm energy in a meat suit. But my meat suit needs to be taken care of at the same time, because it's still playing a role in this reality. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Doing my best to stay as positive and to stay as like high vibrational, and to learn as many of these things that you like, what you're talking about, what you do, the spiritual coaching and the energy healing and stuff like that, because I think that that's really where it's at. That's where it's really going to hit hard.
Yeah, and people are ready. I mean, when I first started doing this work, it was not.
32 years ago, absolutely not. It was just you were crazy, I bet.
Yeah, yeah. Cheryl's weird. Cheryl's weird.
Yeah.
In
Well,
a
you know
good
what?
way. In a good way.
I'd rather be on this side of crazy any day. I am happy to be on this side of crazy, and I will be on this side of crazy all day long if that's where I'm meant to be, because where I came from was pure misery
Yeah.
and just the deepest, darkest hole that I could possibly imagine. And I've had to really crawl my way through the trenches with as little human help, you know. Now the divine has along in the path has been putting people in the place. And I think that he's really done it, or it's really been done right now. I say he, that's not. That's not what I mean, but um, that these people have been placed for me to help me. Like, you're placed in front of me right now to help give me certain tools. And the people that we're going to be placing you on, that listens to looking at through the glass, you're put in front of their ears, you're put in their ears for a reason, and that they really need to stop and think and listen, and think about what they can be changing with your techniques.
Lovely. Well, this has been so amazing.
It really has.
Agreed.
Um, for those, do you do services like over the virtual services or anything like that? Um, for
Oh,
those who might want to be in reach for you, is there a way for them to find you?
yeah. Well, the easiest way to find me is click on the link for the meditations that are in the show notes. But you can also
Okay.
find on my website, starofdivinelight.com, starofdivinelight.com. You can find me on Instagram and LinkedIn, but definitely just click on the link, and then you'll be able to get in touch with me. And all the work I do is virtual. I used to do it all in person for years, of course, because I'm pre-internet for sure. My business was but what I found, it doesn't matter where people are in the world, we're all one. There really is no
Yeah.
separation, and the work is just as powerful online as it is in person. And one of the easiest things to do, I think, is just to sign up for a chakra reading. And I always get the number one message that you need to hear right now, and we don't know what that is. And the biggest response I get is people say, wow, that was so validating. So it validates sort of what you already know and adds to it. um,
Hmm.
so and it's just something I love to do. I love to do
I'm
all.
interested.
Me too. I
I, I'm
definitely
I'm interested. I'm interested because I'm kind of in a state of confusion at this point in time. But I know that I'm being led, and I know that I'm being guided, and I know that I'm not alone in this and in anything that I do face, and that right there, just keep and that knowing and being and staying in the knowing that it's happening for me, not to me. And that right there, just staying in that knowing in the midst of it, and I have to repeat it to myself. It's happening for me, not to me. It's happening for me, not to me. I'm not where I used to be. I'm in a different place. There's sometimes that I really have to really talk myself into knowing that I'm safe again. So I have to say, for those out there, remember that it's not happening to you, it's happening for you.
So true.
thank you for coming on and reaching out and giving
Absolutely.
us a little bit of a way to help us work through those emotions.
Thank you, Giselle and Sela. And yes, it's working through the emotions that helps us evolve and grow and expand into our light and the love that we truly are. And science proves it today.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely does.
And for our listeners, if I will have everything in the notes, so if for those who are driving that can't write anything down, um, you can always reach us at 12 look in through 34 the glass at gmail.com. You can reach us on TikTok, Facebook, anything like that to share stories. If you want to come on, if you want to learn more, you're more than welcome to reach out. We appreciate everybody who listens.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.